The ground under your feet is moving right now, and you feel nothing. Every continent drifts about as fast as your fingernails grow. About a few centimeters a year, steady and silent. So the map you learned in school is already slightly wrong. North America and Europe are inching apart as you watch, and you're riding along, never noticing the trip. Your whole life happens on a moving surface. It's just too slow for your senses to catch. Now here's what those slow drifts are building toward. When two plates lock together, stress quietly piles up for centuries. Then it releases in seconds, and that's an earthquake. So the ground you trust isn't solid at all. It's a puzzle of giant pieces grinding against each other, and you happen to live on top of the seams. Think about the last time you felt dizzy for no reason. Big earthquakes can actually make the whole planet ring. The Earth vibrates like a struck bell for days afterward. The waves are far too deep for you to hear, but sensitive instruments pick up the planet humming to itself. Your home planet literally chimes after a major quake. Here's one you can feel in your own chest. Earthquake energy travels as waves, just like sound and light. The first wave to reach you is the P wave. It's a push-pull, the same motion your voice makes in air. Then comes the S wave, the one that rolls the ground sideways. That second wave is the shaking that knocks things over. Animals often sense the first wave before you do. That's why your dog may act nervous seconds early. Now think about how tall you're standing right now. During a big quake, the ground can move like ocean water. Solid soil turns into something closer to liquid mud. Scientists call it liquefaction, and buildings can sink right in. Cars have been swallowed, and heavy structures tilt and lean. The same dirt that held your house suddenly can't. It's your everyday ground behaving like a thick soup. And here's why some places shake and others barely do. The type of ground under you changes everything you feel. Soft valley soil amplifies the shaking dramatically. Solid bedrock passes it through with far less drama. So too neighbors can experience the very same quake differently. Where you stand decides how hard the earth grabs you. Now let's talk about the heat hiding beneath your shoes. Just a few miles down, rock glows and flows. The Earth's core is roughly as hot as the sun's surface. That heat is the engine driving every plate on the move. So the ground you sit on is a thin, cool skin. Underneath it, the planet is a slow-churning furnace. And that furnace is why continents wander at all. Here's a scale that resets how you see disaster. The energy in a large earthquake can dwarf many bombs combined. Each step up the magnitude scale is about 30 times stronger. So a magnitude 7 isn't twice a 6, it's much more. The numbers sound small, but the jump between them is enormous. That's why one extra point changes everything on the ground. Your intuition about the scale is almost always too gentle. Now, think about mountains and how you assume they're permanent. The Himalayas are still growing about a centimeter every year. India is slowly crashing into the rest of Asia. That collision has been lifting Everest for millions of years. So the tallest place on Earth is still climbing higher. The mountains in your photos are taller than older ones. Nothing on this planet is truly finished being built. Here's a fact that touches the length of your day. Massive earthquakes can actually shorten how long a day lasts. By nudging mass closer to the planet's center, Earth spins faster. The change is tiny, a fraction of a second. But it's real, measured, and repeatable after the biggest quakes. So a single quake can tweak the clock you live by. Time itself flinches when the ground moves enough. Now feel the floor beneath you one more time. Earthquakes happen constantly, thousands of small ones every single day. Most are far too gentle for your body to notice. You've slept through hundreds without ever waking up. The planet is always adjusting, always settling, always alive. That quiet trembling is just the Earth breathing slowly. And you're along for every subtle shift. Here's why the ocean deserves your respect too. Undersea quakes can shove the entire water column upward. That push spreads out as a wave crossing whole oceans. In deep water, it's barely a bump you'd never feel. But near shore, it stands up into a towering wall. The same physics that moves your bathtub water scales up terrifyingly fast. That's how a jolt far away reaches a distant beach. Finally, think about where the deepest quakes begin. Some start hundreds of miles below your feet. That's where cold plates sink back into the hot interior. The rock down there is under pressures you can't imagine. Yet it still cracks and shifts, sending waves upward to you. So the ground has layers of movement all the way down. Every day you walk on a world that never rests. And that's the quiet miracle under every step you take. If this made you feel the ground differently, subscribe to BetterNight and keep wondering with us.